I told you. I told all of you Phil was a little devil spawn. I knew it. Freaking knew it. I knew there was something off with that kid. The way he was in every single important scene, it was just screaming at you, saying that this kid was going to be important. I mean, number one, the man has some incredible scores on his test and stuff. He's up there with Emma, Norman, and Ray, so he's not dumb. Number two, he's always been in every single important scene. And number three, on top of that, with a color page we got a long time ago, his shadow kind of looked like a demon. And then number four, on top of that, he just smiles way too much with all the shit that's going on in this series. There's just something off with the kid. He's a little devil. So, yeah, that final page of the chapter, I'm like, shit's about to go down. Shit's about to happen. Like, it's gonna be savage, because Phil's probably the main mastermind. He's probably been manipulating everybody or doing something, because he's just way too important. And also finding out about, you know, the different codes in the books and stuff like that. Just, it's obvious that this kid is very smart. He knows way more than he lets on. So let's talk about that final page, okay? Let's just, you know, analyze the message there. Many have discussed, after, you know, bringing up the fact that Phil might be a spy or a demon or whatever, many have discussed, is he working for Isabel? Or is he working for the grandma? Or is he working for himself? Many have been questioning that constantly. Who is Phil working for? Whose side is he on? Is he on his own side? Is he actually wanting to help out Emma, Norman, and Ray in his own way? Or is there something else going on here we're unaware of? From what we can gather from the final page of this chapter, clearly Isabel is not working with Phil. What Phil did at the end of the chapter clearly wasn't what Isabel expected to happen. Because all of a sudden, when Isabel's about to start hunting after everybody, and she's about to hunt them down, capture them, and all that, all of a sudden, a hand grabs her. A hand grabs Isabel. And then she turns around, and her face is absolutely shocked. Like, she doesn't know what to think. She's completely shocked, like she didn't think she would see Phil there. Now, I don't know necessarily if that means, like, she's shocked that Phil is there in the first place because he probably is very important, or she knows something about Phil, or number two, she's questioning, like, why would Phil be here when all the children are supposedly escaping right now? Why would he be here of all times? But then, it makes you question, like, her facial reaction. The way she just seems so scared, the way her face actually looked terrified, I was like, what's going on here? Why does she seem so scared? Does she know something about Phil, or is there something he's doing that we just didn't get to see in the chapter? Because there was something that Chibi pointed out to me, and I didn't really realize it until I went back to read the chapter. And I'm like, holy shit, is that just, you know, an art error? Or is that something else going on at the end of the, you know, the chapter? So, if you go back to the final page, look very closely, you see Phil grab Isabel with his right hand. Like, he grabs her clothing, and you see, like, a big emphasis on the grab. What looks like his fingers or whatever going into Isabel's, you know, shirt or whatever, or dress. And then all of a sudden, it moves over to Isabel turning him around, like, looking around like she's terrified or something. And then you see Phil holding her with his left hand instead. Which I'm like, that's weird. Like, it feels like that's an error with the art, or there's something else going on there. Like, Phil did something with his right hand, and then he grabbed her again with his left hand. Whatever happened there, I'm kind of curious, because whatever did, Isabel doesn't seem like she is aware that Phil should be there in the first place. So, here's the question now I have. Is Phil doing something that Emma wanted him to do, or is something else happening here? Is Phil taking matters into his own hands? Clearly, Phil is smart. We know for a fact with him being there amongst fire, like the house is on fire, okay? And he's obviously smart enough to know, get the fuck out. But he's there smiling, and he's like, hey, mother, how you doing? Like, the house is on fire. Let's go. Let's just go. Like, it just seems like, you know, he's acting all innocent, like an innocent little child, but there's just no way. There's no way. According to what Emma said, is that she told all the children. All the kids have been filled in with what's going on, and so obviously Phil would know. He would know by now. Even if he didn't catch on in the past, he would know by now. So he knows how dangerous this is. But for him to be there, it makes me wonder if he is doing something else from Emma and Ray and Norman's plans, and he's probably taking matters into his own hands, probably to deal with Isabel, because he realizes that maybe if someone doesn't stop Isabel, you know, they're not going to be able to escape, because the question still lies, or the big thing right now, that even if they start running right now, Isabel has been shown that she can catch up to them, and she is willing to break their legs. Like, she's willing to just snap their legs right then and there. So it lets us know that maybe Phil is trying to be a martyr here. He's trying to sacrifice himself for everyone, or there's another plan here. He's working for the demons, or he's another spy, like he's a, you know, a double-edged sword or something. I have no idea. Regardless, though, Phil, you are probably going to start some crazy shit next chapter. I'm pretty damn excited. I've been waiting a lot of weeks now, like 20 plus weeks for this reveal. I'm excited to see what Phil is going to do, and I've been telling you guys constantly that this man is a devil spawn, and you guys thought I was talking some shit, like I was just talking out of my ass, but here you go. So, besides all of that, though, I just want to say I'm very happy with Emma with this chapter. I'm very, very, very happy with her, with how she was able to come up with a plan and actually fill in all the children and get everything done while Ray wasn't even able to know in the first place for all those months. She was able to get all this shit done. I'm very impressed with Emma, because it really shows that she is also a very intelligent character. Now, we already know, we're very aware she's very intelligent, because we know about her scores. It's already been said multiple times. However, we haven't really seen Emma display her own plan in the Promised Neverland. We've seen, you know, Norman, we've seen Ray. They've had their own plans, and they're very intelligent plans for their age. But we've never really seen Emma come up with her own plan. We've always seen her be very emotional, and she just doesn't put a lot of thought into what she's doing. But this is like one of the first times in the series that Emma has really come up with a plan on her own, and is showcasing how smart she can be. Even if she is being, I guess, emotional, and she's making this plan with emotions, she is still very smart. I mean, what she came up with and letting all the children know, keeping, you know, this act going with Isabel and her not even realizing in the first place, it was very impressive. So I'm proud of Emma with this chapter and how she was able to come up with this strategy, but also Norman was able to pitch in. Even with this man supposedly being dead, he's still helping out and all the entire cast, and that's kind of sad when you think about it. Still, I don't think Norman's probably dead, but we'll see where the series goes in the future. Anyways, though, we found out how they were able to make the smell, and how Isabel was fooled by the smell in the first place, which, honestly, I'm just surprised the writer actually decided to dive even further into that scene, because it was kind of obvious that it was the ear burning, like a part of the ear that was burning, that's why it smelled like, you know, human flesh, but apparently the writer wanted to dive in even more to make it very apparent the reason for the smell. It was also, you know, a bunch of food, meat, and all of that was thrown in, like pork, and it makes the smell. Like, apparently, you know, burning flesh does smell like pork. So, when you think about it like that, I like how the writer dived in a little bit more on that, just to clarify if anyone didn't understand how Isabel was able to be, you know, confused about the entire situation with the flames. Besides just, you know, the tracker in the first place, it was also because of the smell. So, I do appreciate that, and, I mean, I'm just surprised the writer was willing to just dive into that. I mean, usually writers will just say something, and then they'll carry on to the next scene. But no, we actually dived back in to what that was and given a little bit more detail. So, well done there. Anyways, though, I do say that one other thing that really got me by surprise was also how the children found out through, you know, Sister Crone. A lot of the other kids, they were able to understand what was going on thanks to Sister Crone when she was talking to Emma and all them. They found out, and then they started spreading it to the other children, and then that's kind of what happened throughout the entirety of the time. You know, more children found out, and then they start working together to plan this escape, which explains why they're all working together right now. So there's a lot of, you know, plot threads kind of being tied up in this chapter, which I'm really happy with. I appreciate that, because it just makes it to where these characters helping out doesn't come out of nowhere, because if they didn't know, it wouldn't make much sense at all if they just started helping out trying to escape. They'd be like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm glad they, you know, addressed this problem. All the kids have been filled in, and now they're trying to figure out how they need to get out of here. So yeah, chapter overall, solid chapter. A very solid chapter of The Promised Neverland. Honestly, it couldn't have been much better than this. It was a really good chapter. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.